said you worked on a lot of shows. Do you do any film or TV as far as like scoring or different things like that, as far as like mixing engineer as well?
No. We have a section that we're building, which is supposed to be our film division, and we're going to get into that. But because we're a lifestyle brand, we're not just a recording studio. We're influential in multiple markets and industries, even the car industry and the custom car industry. I'm still but one person. And we will get to that, but for now, jack of all trades, master of none. On the second note of that, we take too many projects from people who didn't come here for that, came here for something else. They'll start avoiding us because we got it. You know, I can be honest, we lost a lot of our celebrity production clients when I started investing more time and money in our own in-house producers, because their studio time is free. You know, and our celebrity producers got to pay. And then if their client can't find a beat, and one of my producers who get free studio time says, well, I got a beat, that producer might have spent $1,500 with us working on a 3-beat portfolio where our in-house producer was free. So it gets a little complicated. So we're not in a rush to jump too far over, because we do have the networks on lock, and we rather than film than start submitting music. And then there's one negativity to that: if your music isn't good enough, they start feeling uncomfortable that they didn't take it, but they're still at your facility, and so it's really tricky. It's a real finite line on how we stay in all the circles we stay in.
And I know that's working hand in hand with the producer. No reason I'm getting to that, because I've heard stories about, you know, certain things that people had to do, or they've had to turn out all the lights for somebody to go into a certain mode in order to bring out that best performance. I don't know if you had anything that may have come about, you know, here in the castle, especially with your changes to that kind of level.
Well, it's such a creative environment, but we got a lot of bells and whistles in the castle that are unseen. But one story that we laugh about and we talk about was KY Engineering was in here working with Waka, and Warner had been waiting on this record forever and ever, and he just wasn't ready, or wasn't, so on and so forth. So they had a session here, and they were trying to get this record done, and we have this extra TV which you can just turn on Netflix. KY had the idea to turn on David Chappelle, and it turned into just a fun session, and boom, Waka wrote the verses, and it was a wrap. They finished the song that night. It was a song with Nicki Minaj, the guy from Florida, the singing guy, but the rapper who always got the dance hot. Flow Rider, yeah. It was Waka, Flow Rider, and Nicki Minaj. And that was one of the cool things, because we do have an extra TV and it's online, and it was literally for to break the mood. But to be honest, for us it's a distraction, because if the client is playing, they ain't working. But it also helps on the reverse of that. When they can't get the work done, they can be inspired by, you know, going to a set show.
Being in the game for as long as you have, I know you got some crazy studio session stories. Can you like just share with us one, and you know, even if you can't name something, just something crazy that might have happened in a session?
I don't know. You know, I had a pretty boring recording career because I'm such a technical engineer, and I'm not saying that in lieu of promoting myself. I'm a very technical engineer. I believe the best engineers could have been doctors and lawyers, and the worst engineers should have just been something blue collar. So my whole vibe in the studio has never really created anything crazy. And if it was something wild going on, I'm so hard on the clock because I want my rough mix to sound like a real mix that sometimes I'll tune out a client. And if it's strippers or fights or anything, and I can tell you, I've been there. Bloods on one side of the room, Crips on the other side of the room, having to work on a record, and they didn't tear the place up, but it got ugly in the studio, and I kept working, and the label owner was like, you didn't even flinch, you know, were you worried that if you looked that way you'd have been drawn into the fight? I was like, really forgot you guys were there. You know, I know this song was going to radio, you know what I'm saying? And I want to make sure everything I do is amazing. So don't have one.